What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and this is what separates Congressman Ro Khanna, a man I consider a friend, from the mansions and the cinemas of the Democratic Party. Ro has no secret agenda. He has no lobbyists that he is owned by, no special interest groups that have their hooks in him that dictate him what he says and what he does. He has one job, and that is to represent the people of California's 17th Congressional District.
Are you willing at this moment to take nothing over something? Because worst case scenario, you've got the bipartisan hard infrastructure bill ready to go with the president's assurances, promises that he's still fully committed to work on the human infrastructure bill.
Stephanie, I'm prepared to do exactly what the president wants. And what he said very clearly to the caucus is we want both bills. He offered a compromise framework, $1.75 trillion, less than 2% of GDP, to have universal child care, to have preschool. And most progressives are rallying around that. He said, let's get it done over the next week or so. Let's pass both bills. Progressives agree. So I think there's been too much focus on did it get done yesterday or not. The reality is, as Jake Sherman pointed out, this is going to happen. It'll happen over the next week or so, and then people will see what they're going to get and how their lives will improve.
Congressman Ro Khanna is pragmatic, he's disciplined, he's articulate, and he is smart as they come, folks. And not to mention, he has a set of morals and character that is very hard to find in places like Washington, D.C. That is why he's a progressive whip in the House, because his colleagues trust him to do the right thing, and so do I. The media wants us to talk about the things we do not get in the first round of legislation in the president's Build Back Better bill. Instead of that, how about we focus on the things that we are getting? Universal pre-3 and universal pre-4, which means one less burden American families are going to have when they talk about what they do with their kids when they go to work. It also means the next generation of Americans will be better educated, trained, and prepared for adulthood. Do we forget that as adults, our job is to leave our country and our planet in proper working order for the next generation? This bill does exactly that. And in my book, that is a win. Internet in rural America, investment in sustainable energy, repairing roads, bridges, tunnels. Do you know what this bill creates? Jobs, jobs, and more jobs. This bill will bring in jobs and not just some crappy hourly minimum wage jobs. We're talking about good paying union jobs. You know what else? This bill was delivered to the American people by the Democrats. Republicans did not participate in the negotiations of this bill. They sat on the sidelines and threw bricks to try to stop this bill from coming into law. So if you live in rural America and all of a sudden you see yourself finally able to access the internet and your kids get to go to school when they turn 3 and not 5, you should know that the Democrats did this, and your Republican representatives were against it the entire time. As Congressman Ro Khanna said in this clip, we're not done. Some additional negotiations have to take place, and I've seen my friend Jink publicly call out the progressive wing of the party to vote no so they can get even with Manchin and Sinema.
Is Joe Biden amazing because he got his agenda through? Or is he incompetent because he couldn't get any of the things he said he was going to get through? Yeah. So none of it makes any sense. Yeah. And I'm going to do one last thing here, which is to give a piece of strategy advice to progressives for whatever it's worth. They're good guys, they mean well, right? But if I see Sinema says, yes, I want paid family leave back in, I think Bernie, AOC, Jayapal, such as it is, etc., should, Ro Khanna, whoever it is, good folks, okay, should go on TV right now and say, Sinema said it, we're voting no unless we get paid family leave back in. Mm-hmm. Do you have any idea what kind of pressure that would create? Now progressives are at a no, and even Sinema wants it. It would force Biden to go back to Manchin and go, you lost this one, brother, okay? I guarantee you it would work.
But respectfully, I disagree, because we have to keep our eye on the big picture, and the parents of those 3- and 4-year-olds do not care about the political back and forth that takes place in Washington, D.C. They care about getting their children into schools, and that is what we need to care about. We did not get everything that we wanted. Manchin and Sinema did play dirty, and they will be forced to answer for that. But we need to make sure we have progress. A win is a win. And we will get the rest of the president's Build Back Better framework and this bill passed in 2022 when we have a bigger margin in the House and in the Senate. Elections have consequences, and in one short year, we will be asking the American people to head up to the polls to give us their vision of what they want for this country. Do they want a party that protects the rich and powerful at the expense of the middle class? Or do they want to see bold new ideas and innovation that will keep America as the world's dominant superpower in the next century? And I bet it's the latter. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.